right, welcome back everybody to another. You're recording, Nick. We're
All
going.
Right. I guess that's just how it is.
Are you ready?
Can
I do the intro now?
I only got 2 words left. We're good.
Welcome back to another episode. My name's Emery Wolf. Eating an orange
Nick
is
Lamb.
We are just two camera guys. That was actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the trying to speak with a full mouth.
Yeah. Although I have to drink water now because if you have an orange, you have to rinse your mouth out with water. Otherwise, it'll wreck the enamel on your teeth.
That is something I never think about.
Yeah. I don't know why. For some reason, that's the one thing the dentist told me that sticks with me.
That's kind of true though. And it is Mandarin orange season here right away. So tips for the kids.
So good.
Or if people are handing out oranges in the Halloween baskets this year.
Would you eat an orange as a kid if it came in a Halloween basket?
Probably.
Yeah, I guess.
I was not that discerning of a kid.
I don't know. I was always worried that somebody was going to put a razor or something in there. Didn't you have that fear as a kid?
No. You heard stories of that, but you're like, come on. It's small town.
Yeah, I guess. Right? One time I got it was actually really good looking back on it, but somebody made a homemade popcorn, those popcorn balls. It's like got caramel and stuff on it. But I was worried that somebody put a razor in it, so I just threw it out.
That's crazy, yeah. Like I said, in a small town, I feel like it's a little different. You know everyone, you know who's opening each door pretty much. And like our main concern on Halloween was like Saturday, Halloween, like you're up at 8 a.m. just itching to go. You're like, we could hit the whole town. We could hit the whole town.
Yeah.
Just jazz.
Yeah, you'd probably know the one person that would actually do something nefarious or whatever on Halloween so you could avoid that house.
Yeah. How much candy did you rake in every year?
I would get too much. So I would get like the pillow sack and I would load up the pillow sack. And sometimes I'd make 2 trips. And then this is the silliest part about all of this is I would never finish my candy. Not even close.
We were the same thing. Like we'd fill up like 2 pillow sacks full of candy, which was like way too much. But I mean, I feel like I ate it, but I also feel like mom and dad probably stole a whole pile of it.
Yeah.
Because like I would have never known the difference.
Get it. She doesn't go out there enough. She's still, I'm pretty sure I was Halloweening with other kids by her age, but she still goes out with us and then it doesn't really get that much candy.
Yeah, Trin was the same way. She had this little like pumpkin plastic bowl and like we would barely fill it up.
But whatever. She still gets excited over it and loves it and actually made her own costume this year. So it's pretty impressive. Oh, I should have brought you a picture of it. It's this
nice.
What is she going to be? Dragon. She's got this puppet dragon on her hand that she made with my mom. And then, but the costume, it's got this other hand. So the dragon looks like it's moving on its own and her hand is just in her pocket, but her hand is puppeting the dragon. It's really, really cool. I'd have to show you a picture. Her and grandma made it.
Nice. Well done. What are you doing?
A hockey player. Well, I'll probably be a lacrosse player this year. I got a lacrosse jersey sitting in the closet that we got given to us. So
nice. It works. Anyways, I'm gonna move along here.
Yeah, nice.
Sort of the obvious.
Nice curtains.
Not at home.
Picture you got there.
Great. I'm on the road doing some work out in actually Rocanville, but I'm staying in Mooseman.
Oh, Rocanville,
tonight, so
nice.
Doing this from Mooseman. Yeah,
I guess they got the small town initiative, don't they? That's a big deal for your organization.
Yeah, so I've been driving out here, taking a bunch of drone shots, and then we're delivering all our awards and awards finalist stuff.
Oh, nice!
So that's receiving all that now, and that's part of my job.
I do the Merit Awards show, and it's seriously one of the best jobs I do all year because it's so fun putting together all of those graphics for the awards and piecing together all the content. It's really cool. It's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, it's always fun. Another big elephant in the room. I think we've done 3 episodes in 2023 here. What's been the deal with that?
So,
Why
well, a combination, a couple things. So we went away for a month. We went to New Zealand, and then to be perfectly honest, I just haven't been feeling good. I've been having some health issues and not feeling like I'm on top of the world.
Yeah. So 2 things. Like I hit the road to, moose them in, jump on the internet and do a show here. I'm pretty sure there was a talk about doing a show in New Zealand. What happened to that?
It was great. It was really nice there. It was their winter, but our Airbnb, you could see the ocean from the kitchen and living room. It was really nice. Really, really nice.
Nice. It actually kind of sounds like we did a quick trip out to Nanaimo.
Nice.
And same thing, we Airbnb it, and like we were waking up in the morning, and it's like, hey, there's whales going. We should go down to the ocean. Like
it's crazy. It's just such a different life, isn't it? It's just. Yeah. I kind of like winter though. It's weird, but I get this weird energy right when the season. Every time a season changes, I kind of get re-energized. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I like it.
Would you ever move elsewhere, or you think you're Saskatchewan for life?
I would move elsewhere, but I really like our connections and community here. We've got just a really good friend group, really good support group, plus family. So it'd be hard. It'd be really tricky to leave that.
Yeah, I like the comfort of here. Like everything's simple. Yes. Everything's slower.
It is slower.
And it's nice. Like,
yeah, you're absolutely right.
You just like, why do you got to get all worked up about things, right? Like you just don't have to. And that's sort of the attitude of most of it.
And you know what? And that's kind of I've been trying, I'm saying trying because I don't always do it, but I've been trying to embody that attitude a lot better, as to not getting concerned or worried about every little thing anymore. I'm actually probably going to become a way worse director, is my guess, because I'm going to stop caring about all of that. Just be like, no worries.
You were talking about some health issues. Not to get into it, but mostly I just want to talk about that, like what looks like pig slop that you've been eating.
Do I have stuff all over me?
No, I mostly just wanted to say pig slop because I think it's been like oats.
I've been eating healthy, like really, really healthy, and sticking to it. And I don't know if it's helping or making a difference, but it makes me feel better, and it makes me feel like I'm at least attempting to do something on my end. But actually working out too, exercising, going to a gym, doing the classes where they tell you to do stuff. It's
what kind of like are you doing like cardio or
both?
Like
so it's a mix. So the class, it's so they're group classes, and there's it's always the same instructor, and he just kind of knows, like, he starts you off really slow, and then you're all doing similar things, but he's just got different levels to it. So if you do, today we did core day, and everybody's got it. So when you start off, you're just laying on your back and pick your feet up a little bit, and then later you're kind of moving around different hands in different progressions. And then it's lifting too. I'm just lifting the little baby weights right now, trying to get my technique and stuff. And then they run sometimes when it's nice out, and it's a mix. I really like it though. It's good. Wish I was doing this my whole life. It's great.
It's weird how like taking care of yourself and you feel better.
Yeah. And the other stuff, it's weird because you can easily forget about it because you're just like, no, I'm doing what I can. So.
I say it, and I kind of say it to stir people up, but I miss COVID, and it's because during that time, during the lockdowns, it's when I was taking care of me the most, and ever since it's been gone, it hasn't been happening.
Yeah, well, it's so hard to take care of yourself. I just feel like I had that border. I didn't have this, but you know how when the smoker has a heart attack, and then they're just like, no, I'm quitting right now, and then everything just changes. Then I feel like I had a similar moment, and it's just like, no, I'm gonna do what I can now. So I don't know, I feel good.
Why is it so hard to take care of yourself? Like, doesn't that sound stupid?
Because you feel okay enough. Do you know what I mean? You feel okay enough, and there's no urgency to it. At least that's why I didn't do it properly. But it's weird because not everybody does. When I go to the gym, I see younger people, older people, and now I don't know all their stories, but I'm guessing that some of them have just done that their whole life.
Yeah. I actually, it's funny I ever thought of that, but I think you're probably right that, you feel good enough. I always feel like part of the other problem is just like how our society is like aimed. And like, I don't always think it's good. And I think we should try to like promote more self-care and things like that. And we just don't.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, work 24/7, work your butt off. I'm working tonight, right? And doing this.
And that's, what's so weird? I've taken so much borderline pride in that my whole life. It's just like, no, I don't even have time to do that. I'm working, I'm doing this, doing that with another property, like that kind of stuff. But you're right. It's really silly looking back.
Yeah. And it's like a bizarre way of living, right? Like, 300 years ago, we were out there farming and we would reap the reward and eat. And if that didn't go well, you didn't eat. And it's so like your life revolved around those things and just literally just taking care of yourself. And I feel like everyone was like, I'm going to say healthier. I know our lifespans and all that, and with our medication and that weren't as good, but I do think like if we reverted back to some of that a little bit more and made more of our life and more of our jobs about taking care of ourselves, we'd be in a lot better place as a society as a whole.
No, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
So I've got still gonna start making some content again on my own little channel.
I was gonna go back to New Zealand. What happened to that content?
I've shot a lot of stuff and a decent amount of things, but I haven't edited a ton of it.
Like from New Zealand?
Yeah. So I've got.
How many videos did you actually put out?
2.
And how many were you claiming you were going to put out before you left?
Yeah, I was going to do daily. It was going to be Christmas in July, so it was Vlogmas in July was going to be the theme, but it didn't exactly happen. I do want to start amping up the content. I don't even know why. I just want to start making stuff again. So I've got a cool one coming up.
Well, it's because I feel like it's because you were doing so much with Leroy and everything else, and now you're not.
Yeah.
So
I think so. I think so. I've got a.
What can you tell us about the cool
so
one?
Well, I got 2 cool ones. So this one's pretty good. Where have you seen the Hobbit hole in our front yard? So we've got this slope. It kind of goes. It's about a 4 or 5, maybe a 2 or 3 foot slope, and it goes down to their sidewalk. So our sidewalk's down here, and then it goes up to our house. So there's a roll in the land. Does that make sense? It's about a 3 or 4 foot roll.
Yeah.
So it was hard to roll a mower up and down. You could do it. You'd just go sideways, but it was a pain. So we zero-scaped the front yard. And then we're putting in all these rocks and shrubs and trees and stuff. And I was just like, this is perfect for a hobbit hole right here. And then guess how much research I did on hobbit holes?
You watched
I did nothing. I just went by memory, and I was like, well, I'll put a circle on the side of this hill. And it looked so bad. It was the absolute worst looking thing you've ever seen in your life. And I had one very kind neighbor that said, oh, like your hobbit hole. And then we had 99 other people say, what's going on there? Is that a access to what do you got going on there? Nobody knew what was going on. It was just looked weird, bad. So I made a video about how I couldn't pause The Lord of the Rings in time to see the Hobbit hole, so we had to go to New Zealand to learn how to make them. So that's the video.
That's the one coming out. You say you want to do more back into it. Are you talking about like revising that passion
so that one
series, the passion
forgot about
projects
that.
you were doing?
Yeah. So I'm going to Saskatoon on Saturday. There's a guy in Saskatoon that does one of those giant Halloween displays. So I'm going to go film his Halloween display and film a little 5-minute piece on him and kind of his passion for Halloween and I don't know, decorating. He probably won't want me to call it decorating, but what would you call it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a good question. That's a question.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
So you've got a real passion for decorating.
Yeah. Do you know what? Susan's into that. So I should ask her one day what she actually calls it.
Because we always say you're decorating for Halloween, but I just feel so he's a fully grown man that's a carpenter, and I probably won't want me calling it decorating. I'll have to think that up.
You never know. Maybe that's what he calls it too, though, right? Like you never know.
Yeah, that'll actually be a funny question to ask him. Because it'll be the question would be, so I feel like I can't say that you have a passion for decorating, but
when you're doing these, do you like type up and come with like preset questions?
Yes, I'll have preset questions.
Is it all on?
But then you know what it's like on the day with this stuff. You ask the first question, and if it's gonna be good, the person just goes. And then you're just, for me anyway, I'm just trying to find, okay, what did they say that's actually interesting me? And then I'll follow up on that. And then the rest of it, I'll just kind of leave.
Yeah. I feel like, part of the biggest thing of being a good interviewer is actually being a good listener. So like today, just for an example, I'm interviewing this guy, I'm asking him questions, and the power actually went out on us, which was kind of funny.
Wow.
It's like, oh, well, that's new. And then we're sitting there talking, and while he's talking, he told a couple stories, and I started taking notes down, so I remember to ask him questions about the stories, right? And typically, like when I'm doing it, I'll listen to the person, listen to you, even on here, and be like, okay, well, what's that runoff from what he's saying? And that's all that's going in my head as you're talking. And it's weird. It's like I'm listening to you, but I'm also not, because I'm thinking about how do I twist what you're saying into the next thing.
Interesting. I think you're right. That's what makes a really good interview. The other thing, so when I'm interviewing somebody, unless they are like an actor, pretty much, unless they're on it, I'll always spend 5-10 minutes. Even if we're in a rush, I'll spend some time to make sure I've got a rapport with them before I turn the camera on, or else you're pretty much wasting your time.
Yeah, like basically, for lack of a better term, you're shooting the shit right before for 10 or 15 minutes, just so that they're comfortable with you.
Yeah.
Though, too, what I find, though, is the second you turn the camera and the lights on, like someone who's all like loosey-goosey, you flip everything on, and they're like...
So the one thing that I like to do to get around that is I'll have the lights on. If I've even got the lights off, I'll flick them on the second they walk in to get them used to the lights, so that we're having that pre-conversation with the lights on. Because I've noticed that too, and that helps. But you're right, even turning the camera on is a problem. But so when that happens, by the end of the interview, I can usually get them calm, and then I'll just say, let's just do this again, and then we'll do it again, and it'll turn out good.
Yeah, I feel like that too, part of it is probably like more like personality and how you run it. Like you like to make jokes, you make things sort of fun, right? Like, so, and I think that always helps as well. Comedy always helps.
Although, so it's fun. I feel like I can't always think of something funny. But I don't know.
I know. Or going back to like listening to, like, I will pull out specific phrases that people say, right? You said this, but like, do you mean this or think this, or, you know, can you elaborate on it?
That's better than being funny, I think, because by doing that, you're showing that you actually care and you're listening and you're interested in the person. And that's gonna, at least if you're interviewing me, it would be, oh, okay, we're just having a conversation here. Interesting.
I know we've talked about it before about like podcasters or YouTubers we watch, but who's the best interviewer?
The best interviewer. So,
or maybe not the best. I feel like that's like maybe like who's really good? Who do you like? Who do you watch? Who can you just listen to?
Yes. So my favorite interviewer, there's a couple. The one is super, super famous. Ira Glass is famously good at interviews. I love the way he interviews people and kind of interjects. NPR guy. So he does.
Okay.
He does different shows on NPR. I'm blanking on his super popular show there. He is really good. The other one that I like, and now this one's highly edited, but he does Darknet Diaries. Have you heard him? So he listens to people, but then he will, if they're talking too nerdy, he'll break it down again so that you can also understand it. Yeah, he's really good because he adds to the conversation. There's conversation. Actually, you know what? I actually thought of my favorite one. Econ Talk. Have you ever heard of him with Russ Roberts?
No.
He is my favorite interviewer because what he does, and I wish I could do this, but he will listen to the person and he will ask questions, but then he challenges them too. So if they say something that he's like, I don't know about that, he throws something back at them to create a bit of a debate. It's fascinating. I really like it.
I feel like all mine are pretty mainstream.
I didn't mean to go way off the record there.
I think that's good. Like there's probably people out there too who would be like, good ideas. I'll check people out. I would say probably like the most non-mainstream one I like is Errol Morris.
No, who's that?
Who he is? It's a documentary, and he made sort of his first big one, I think, was The Thin Blue Line. And then he did like The Fog of War and Unknown Knowns.
So what does he do? What's called? His style?
Might be Known Unknowns. Like headshot document. Unknown Knowns is like straight up headshot, just asking a guy questions. And I was like captivated by the entire thing.
Is it just that they're good questions, or is it that his timing, or
he does some different things too. So when he interviews people, he actually puts them into a sound room, and he's behind the boards in a different room. So he's not even in the room.
Oh, interesting.
He really works silence. Like he'll just let people sit there for like a minute. He'll ask them a question, they'll answer it, and they'll just sit there. And then, you know, when people get like myself, where I don't like the silence, they'll just keep rambling on. And so he gets like a lot of that too.
Oh,
so
interesting. Okay.
He's interesting. If you ever watched The Fog of War or Wormwood or Known Unknowns,
are any of these on Netflix?
Probably. The Thin Blue Line was like a crime documentary thing, and it freed a guy.
Really?
Like the police reopened the investigation because his like investigation into the crime and stuff was so good that it got the guy free. The other ones I listen to, I can't think of the guy's name, but he does the Hot Ones interviews. I really like him. He always comes. He's kind of like, do you remember Nardwar?
Oh,
He's
no.
kind of like him. He just comes with these like obscure facts. No, but like a more like not as weird and quirky, but like he comes in with this facts and knowledge about people, and like he does his research beforehand, and it's nice.
You know, my favorite Nardwar one. Nardwar did a Blue Jays game once. I think it was Nardwar anyway, and so they had played one game, and Nardwar, after the game, he's interviewing this guy, and the guy went 3 for 5 or something like that. And he said, and he did the thing, and he asked the guy, just dead serious. He's like, so you're on pace to set some pretty crazy records this year. He's like, I did the math. I extrapolated it out. You're going to get over 2,500 hits. Your batting average, you're going to hit, if you hit a home run every game, you're going to hit over 300 home runs because the guy hit 2 home runs or something like that. But he just went on and on and on because he did all the math for it.
So the nature of doing these things, we get like a lot of American followers. Basically, whenever you're doing anything on social media, you do. And if you guys want to Google Nardwar and see what you come up with, it'll be an interesting, going down the rabbit hole day for you.
Oh, that's cool. Who else? We need a third one.
The last guy I would say is David Letterman.
Okay.
Have you watched his show on
Netflix one though, but I used to watch the late night shows a lot.
The late night wasn't always my favorite, but watching like the long form thing that he does on Netflix, I've kind of been like, yeah, I like this a lot. I like what he's doing. It's very calm, very relaxed, very
interesting. Cool. I like that. Yeah. You know what I think we're going to have to do tonight, because we've gone so long? I think we might have to just tease our topic for the next show and then hit it on the next show. Because we could do this show as more of a interview style show.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Let's just
we'll keep moving on.
We'll see here. So, you know what? I'm going to give some people here some behind the scenes of just 2 camera guys and how this works and how you put a podcast together. So on Tuesday, Nick sends me a text that says, "Are you available Wednesday or Thursday night for a show?" And then proceeds to give me a list of things to do on that show. And I said, a lot to unpack there. I'm like, I'm on the road, but we can do it. And he's like, okay. And that was it. Bring an Ethernet cable. Good idea. And then tonight we called each other. That is all the work and prep we've done for this. So that's I am on my phone trying to follow that.
I've got it on the Google Doc here. So
I did send. Yeah. So with that, let's get this train back on the track. You shot a wedding.
So I had a friend of mine in Moose Jaw just sent me a text message and just said, "Hey, do you know anybody that can film a wedding video? They're not looking for anything fancy."
A wedding? I think we should make that a term, a wedding.
So they said in the thing, they said they don't want anything fancy. They just want to document it for their father-in-law who couldn't make it to the video or to the wedding. And I was just thinking about it. And then I said, well, if it's just to document it, I could do like a single camera shoot with no editing quite easily. So I gave him So I gave him a pretty decent price, and I just said, "Hey, I could do it for this, and I'm actually available that day." And then I gave him a 2-camera price because it would just be the 2 to cut it up. And they said, "Yeah, well." They went for it, and they went with the 1-camera price. But then I got to the wedding, and I just couldn't do a 1-camera shoot. So I set up a 2nd camera and gave them the 2-camera shoot for the same price. But I made it clear I said I'm not going to do anything fancy for this price, and it's not going to be something where I'm going to spend days and weeks editing. I'm just going to edit it that night and give you what I get.
I just want you to keep using the word wet it. You're just going to wet it.
But it was good. It was fun. I haven't done a wedding for over 10 years.
Do you know what? Here's the other reality. I feel like that's whenever my friends ask me about like what wedding videos and what they should do, like that was my recommendation. Buy yourself a DSLR, get Uncle Bob to do it. And like your next best, actually, even now, like getting a microphone for it is so cheap and easy. You know, those ceremonic things are like $200, and then you have that as well, and you're done, right? And you've got a camera for all your life's events when you end up having kids and stuff together. Like I just think more people should do that in general.
Yeah, this one would have been
so
tricky.
Exactly.
I guess you could take the feed. Yeah. It wasn't that. It was good. It wasn't that bad. And the photographer was an older guy too. And it's just like, oh, do you do this all the time? He goes, well, I used to. He says, I haven't done a wedding in 10 years. But both of us haven't did a wedding in 10 years. But he was a really good photographer. He knows what he's doing. He does a bunch of commercial shoots. And it was kind of like, we're kind of like the same guy here. We both do mainly commercial stuff.
Yeah. I actually shot a wedding this
summer
as well. I just did photos though. I don't think I would do video again, but yeah, I did some photos for a friend and sort of tried to turn them around quick just to get things done and get it over with.
No, I had it edited that night.
It's true.
I was in bed before midnight, having the whole thing edited and shot and turned around. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've been working on your calendars, haven't you?
The other thing you've been, so there's 2 calendars out, the black ice one, which sort of stalled. It had good sales at first, and now it's stalled out. I think I have 7.
Yeah, left. I know a guy that said they were going to take 2, and then changed their mind.
Yeah. Well, you're getting.
I got mixed up
yesterday one,
when
right?
you said your calendars were out. So Emery made this post on Facebook. He said calendars are out. Get them while they're hot, or whatever you said. And so I responded, I'll take 2. And then I realized, so you've got 2 different calendars. I didn't even understand how this worked.
Yeah. Mostly born out of 2 things. So one, chasing yesterday is like, it's really pandered to a crowd. So we've kind of gone all in on that. So the chasing yesterday calendar, we had 5 months that people voted on for the photos. So one, it made great promotional for us. So to get people knowing that the calendars are out, and then, and 2, it sort of gets our hands off of picking things a bit, right? We're just like, here's the top 4, pick on them. They're like, this one, we're like, okay, right? So just give it to them, and whatever it is, like it doesn't matter, right? Then actually, just continuing with that too, we actually did a photo playoffs for our sales, which I also think worked quite well. We've had the highest sales we've ever had on the chasing yesterday.
Can I ask you the numbers on that? Like how many you had, or do you not know? Or
it'll be around 150 calendars sold this year.
That's really good.
Yeah. So which also means $5 from every calendar too is going to a donation to help one of the places we take pictures of.
And that's so basically all your profit. I'm assuming there's not a lot of profit on top of that.
We honestly, at this amount, we will make, like, I want to say anywhere from $200 to $500. I think that's what I'm guessing. So, which for us is good. It's gas money. So, anyways, that one's like pandered to the masses. But it was sort of like, I want to make my own. I wanted my own thing. So I did the black ice one. And so it's all just my photos throughout the year, because I do other things other than chasing yesterday. So like there's like weird landscape things in it, weird, bizarre things. There's film, there's AI photos in it this year. There's what else? Wildlife, stuff like that. One photo from Nanaimo. So it's sort of, it follows more my journey than anything. And I had this idea because my business is black ice, and it was sort of a riff on the traditional calendar, and it's a black calendar. So
nice.
That's why there's 2. Really long explanation, but yeah, we sell 2 of them Both sales are going good. My brother's got a bunch of calendars back at the auto shop back at home for sale as well. So not too sure how he's doing with that, but I typically never really worry about that till Christmas.
Probably spending half his day selling calendars, I'm assuming. He split his job up 50-50 at this point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a very important thing, important task on his mind.
He goes, all right, you guys cover the shop for the morning. I'm taking care of the calendars today. I'll see you guys in the afternoon.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm going to flip this again, Nick, but what other like podcasts or video podcasts do you watch? Do you watch
So video podcasts? No, I don't listen to any specific video podcasts. All my video content's YouTube, interesting enough. I think there's a serious niche that nobody's really filling for video podcasters. I had the idea. I wanted to start one up years ago, and I just couldn't find anybody to start it up with. But yeah, there's a niche there.
Like, maybe you misunderstood me, but do you ever watch Spittin' Chicklets?
Oh, are you talking about just podcasts? I thought you were talking about like ones that were focusing on video content.
No, general podcasts that actually has like YouTube content.
Oh, yeah, I listen to. Do you want to know my favorite podcast?
Oh boy.
My favorite podcast is the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast. It's called the Secret Cabal Gaming Podcast. So there's 5 guys on it, and it's a 3-hour podcast. They do a bi-weekly podcast. Well, actually, so they do.
Are you saying, do we need more guys on this show?
It works out good how they do it, because
just 5 camera guys?
Just 5 camera guys. Well, because they're always contributing something different. But so it's a board gaming podcast, and they start off where they're just kind of talking about all the stuff they've played and things like that. Then they go into a deep review of one specific game, and then they do the news, and then this one guy gives his words of wisdom at the end of the show. But it's just 3 hours long, and it's great. I love it. It's my favorite podcast. I look forward to that one the most.
What's his words?
So one guy on the show. So there's a funny guy. There's a host. There is the kind of forgetful, klutzy guy. There is the guy that's just super into board games, who's a math nerd. And then there is a borderline philosopher type guy who is just quite relaxed and always has very insightful things to say, but doesn't really pay attention that much. He gives his words of wisdom, and they're actually always usually pretty good because he's just one of those kind of guys.
Like, I want to know what his
words. So you want to hear his last words of wisdom on the last show that I heard from them? He said,
well, just give me an example. If you were making an impression of this guy,
so
what would it be?
There'd be this nice piano music, and he'd come in and he'd say, so I've been thinking a lot lately about the kind of person you want to be. And have you ever seen those bears on unicycles? You really, in life, you want to be a bear on a unicycle because one, it's just really funny to see a bear on a unicycle, but you're not expecting it. You're expecting this bear to be a big, angry thing, and you want to be the thing that you're not expecting. And you want to be able to provide something that people are not expecting of you.
Well, I feel like maybe we should have redid that whole thing at the start where we got like really deep and just got our mouths right up to the microphones.
It's funny because the other guys don't really like. They kind of laugh at his wisdom, but he's trying to be serious.
Yeah. The only reason I bring this up too is because I'm sitting here holding my microphone like a goofball, and I feel like
where's your stand?
How come you don't have That's the only person I know.
Thing.
That took time and effort. This seemed just
mine's in the shot too much. It's kind of bugging me, but whatever.
I mean, you could change your shot.
I wanted to go on an angle today to show the camera stuff in the background.
Well, what are you trying to show? What's back there?
So I labeled up all of my shelves. So I've got my roto lights over there. Slider goes here with some tripods. And then, although I got a couple stands that snuck into there, they shouldn't be there. Stands are supposed to be down here. And then you can't see it off camera, but I've got my backup hard drive thing so that it backs up inside in case a hobo breaks into my house and steals all my hard drives. Then it back up out here. Flight case is here. Backdrops, tungsten bag, audio bag, LED kit, light box reflectors, flash, teleprompter, books. Yeah, everything's labeled. Makes life so much easier.
Nice. Labeling. So simple, but so effective.
Because then I put stuff back where it goes.
Oh, wait. Maybe. Welcome to your camera moment with Nick and Emery. Labeling your stuff.
Yeah. the top 5 benefits to labeling things. It's like,
oh man, that's how it should have been. The top 5 benefits of labeling.
But they're all just variations of then you can put stuff back where it goes.
I feel like growing up, that was probably like one of your dad's things.
No, that's a camera assistant thing. So on the camera carts, you would label where everything went, and then you would label on the truck where everything went, and then I would always label my First AC's ditty bag where everything went, because if something wasn't there, it was lost. So then you would wait till you find it. If somebody put something back in the wrong spot, you would stop and find everything. And then because random stuff would get called for all the time, and you couldn't be, I don't know. So, but I feel like we run into that a lot nowadays, where it's like, oh,
yeah. Man, I'm turning so much into my dad. It's scary some days. Like I just forget stuff everywhere. It's terrible. But that was one of Dad's big things, right? Like put stuff back where you got it from. Yet he was probably the worst culprit for not doing it at his own shop.
So it's interesting is that after I stopped being a camera assistant, I stopped doing that. And then I ran into the same thing that your dad probably ran into. It's like I can't find anything half the time. So then I had to label. I've been labeling everything lately. That's been my big thing, and it's helping me a ton.
Mm-hmm. Nice. More gear talk here. So going back to the text, Nikon might have the #1 camera again this year with the ZZ.
Yeah, it's the Z8 or Z8. What do we say in Canada? I can't even remember. Is it Z? No, Z. We say Z.
We're Zs in Canada, aren't we?
We say Z, don't we?
Do we say Z?
Or do we say Z? I don't know.
No idea.
Whatever. We say whatever. We mix them. But have you seen the stuff? It's looking like the Z8 might be the camera of the year this year.
Is that the one they came out with?
No, they came out with the Z9.
And is it the one that
the Z9 came out first, right? Okay. Because the Z9's bigger.
Well, what's going on with the Z8?
The Z8 is a Z9, but in a smaller body, essentially. But they're loving it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it shoots 8K internally, and it's got its own RAW format. Apparently, its autofocus is crazy good. The images look incredible. Have you seen the images coming off the Z9 and Z8?
Do you know what? I almost don't like that argument. Like, are they going to be better than an R5? Are they going to be better than a Leica? Like, I don't.
So the reason why
he just totally ignores all of that.
Well, I don't think personally. You know what I thought? I thought that Nikon was developing how to go bankrupt. Like I thought that was the new camera they were working on. But I've done a little bit of a deep dive into their stuff because I've just ignored it for years. But almost universally, people are loving how intuitive their cameras are, how easy it is to shoot with them, how good their autofocus is, how good the images look. They've been stacking their sensors. Have you read about that? they've got almost like it's a dual pixels, or it's similar to the dual pixel with the autofocus, but they're able to dedicate the significant amount of processing to just focus. Yeah. Yeah, it looks good. People are saying that it's their favorite photo/video camera, which is crazy. Better than Canon stuff.
Yeah, I've kind of stopped worrying about a lot of that. Or looking into it. Like they're all good.
But the fact that Nikon is good is crazy. Because I would have put it last.
Well, it's about time. Yeah, it's about time. It's not like they were not going to be good. They just did it so slowly.
They didn't take video seriously, is my opinion. And then
they didn't take mirrorless seriously.
True. Yes. But they are now, and they're kind of showing how good they are at this stuff, which is bizarre because, in my opinion, if they beat Sony, are they better than Sony now? Because they might be.
Yeah, you know, so let's be real. There's 3 big ones, right? Sony, Nikon, and Canon. And I would probably take a Nikon or a Canon over Sony.
I would personally. Right now. I really would.
Like both of them just feel better in the hand.
And then, you know what's crazy though? If I was going stills, would you take Fuji over Sony at this point?
Personally, yes. Yeah. Absolutely. No question.
Would you take Leica over Sony?
No.
You wouldn't. Oh, you know what? If you're filming a wedding.
Law of diminishing returns, right?
Yeah. Okay. I would take a Leica if I was doing landscapes or I wanted to look cool.
I think you take a Leica for to look cool or tell people you're cool, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they're fun to use. I'm sure they feel good. I'm sure all that stuff is good too, like that luxury. But again, like I don't know if it's a leap and bounds ahead of a Canon or a Nikon.
Yeah. No, I would still take Canon, but my reason for Canon at this point is just I have all the lenses. I know how the menus work. I know that I can take the image from here to here, but there's no actual reason for it.
Yeah. They're all good, right? Like if you're looking at a Z8 or a Z8.
I wish we knew what it was. It's so sad that we don't know. Janice will be so embarrassed when she doesn't watch this.
Versus an R5 or a A7, like you're getting a great camera. It doesn't matter which one you buy.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I was just shocked because I kind of went down a Nikon rabbit hole and was blown away at how, for example, Fro knows. He had a video saying he was wrong about Nikon.
And that's what this is. This is a video about Nick saying he was wrong about Nikon.
But his video was based on using it. My video is based on me watching videos.
Yeah. The other big thing with Nikon too that a lot of people have been talking about now is how they've been killing the telephoto lens field for them as well.
Yes.
So they're also sort of framing that market and being a leader in that market, which is what you want to see from a company like
that. They could become the bird watching or animal kind of nature photography thing for sure. And their advertising, I went to their website, which I hadn't been to their website in forever, but it actually looks good. Seems like whoever's doing their marketing is doing a really good job right now.
Yeah, it was just a matter of time, really. It took too much time. I think they lost too many sales on it, but it was going to be good stuff. We mentioned a brand Leica, which was one of your questions on here, just the word Leica and a question. I feel like we had addressed that, but Fuji.
Yeah. Well, you need to talk a little bit more about Fuji than me, because you know way more about Fuji than I do.
Yeah, if I had all the money in the world, where would I dump it? It would be in Fujifilm right now. Mostly just because like what is it, the 100S2 or something is out now. Their newest 100 megapixel one is out. It is hands down probably the best camera you can buy, and it does video, it does photo, it does everything. It's medium format as opposed to our rinky-dink little 35 millimeter size sensors.
Well, they're doing full frame on most of these other ones. But.
Yeah. It's again, talking about like law of diminishing returns. Is it double the camera as to what, say, an R5 is? Probably not. But I think it would be a distinct enough difference, like the roll off in your from light dark areas, color roll off, all those things will be better. Why? Because the sensor's larger.
Yeah. No, I've been amazed too, because if you would have told me Fuji 5 years ago, I would have laughed. And Nikon, I would have laughed. Sony, I would have probably said that Sony's technically better than Canon, but I'm just going to stick with Canon. And now Sony seems like they're last right now. They really do.
But again, they're not bad. Like I just like Leland just got his A7, and like it's a nice camera. It's nicer to hold. I've been like poo-pooing them all night, but it is nicer to hold than you think. It doesn't have enough room in the finger area for me. And I think I have small hands.
So that's
like my brother could not use that.
That's camera. The actual question. So if you were in charge of Sony, what would you change?
It's the easiest thing. Just change their ergonomics a bit. Stop making little boxes. I understand that they're light and they're space friendly, but make them like, and it's such a slight difference that they need to make just a little bit larger, push it out the one way, and you've solved half of your problems. They also need to work on like their button structure and what they're doing. They've come light years from when I first started using Sony. A decade ago. Same with their menu system, right? Again, it's light years ahead of where it was, but it still needs work.
Yeah, no, I agree. They're I don't like their menus, but that just might be because I don't know it that well. And on their higher end video cameras, their menus aren't a problem. They work great. So it's their DSLR menu system that seems a little messed up to me.
Yeah, they have. That's part of like their other problems too. Like what makes Sony great is the options. There's so many things, settings that you can change and get so specific into your whatever you're doing. But like you almost need to be a wizard to
they need to get put on a separate sub menu, just almost a advanced features menu or something like that to simplify it.
Do you know what? Actually, another thing that might help is just if they came out with the like tutorials, and I don't think they'd have to do much. Like, hey, you're using a Sony camera for sports. These are probably the settings you look at. You're doing it for wildlife. It's probably the same as sports, but these are the settings you want to look at.
No, I think so. You ready to move into the shelf of shame, or do you? I don't think we really need to hit we've hit them.
No. Do you have a shelf of shame? I don't. We haven't done this in a while. We haven't done this bit in a while.
The shelf. I don't have a huge.
Is that your shelf of shame? Just all of it?
Most of it. No. I've got this stuff here. Let's see. No. Maybe we'll skip the shelf of shame today. I've got some books up there that I maybe should read a little bit more and stay on top of them. But I've got.
Do you know what?
I've got this bad boy. This hasn't been used on my shelf of shame.
Yeah, let's talk about that in a bit. But I want to give some like good news. One of the things I enjoy the most is this. Do you know what it is?
It's a camera or a phone case?
It's just a card holder.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
But like, it's such a stupid thing. I had this other like old flip out one for my CF cards before. And then when I went everything to SD, I bought this little, I think it's a rugged one from Don Photo. And I was just like, this thing is perfect. It's hard. It's great. Everything about it. It's nice and slim. I love it. It fits perfect in the box. I bought one for our office as well. And it is such a stupid little thing, but I absolutely love them. And like, I don't know why more people don't carry
That's a good point. Yeah, it's those little things on the shoot that can make a difference, because now you always know where your cards are. You know how you organize them. You know how they're set up. I love it.
And it's easy too. Like, so just, I don't have any like used cards in here, but all of these are unused. They're empty. I know that because if we're used, I'm just going to take one out here. It would look like that.
It's just upside down. Yeah. Great.
Yeah. Or I'd flip it to the other side. Like, there's so many different ways of actually doing that, and it does make it like an easy look, and it just, I don't know, feels good.
That's good.
And like I said, I don't know why everybody doesn't have
that is great
card holders.
Do you want to go back in time right now to how you would know that it was? So if you were on a movie set, do you know what we do when we used film? So you take the mag off, you just put it, you'd literally put a piece of tape. So you would change. So we had on the front, we had it, if it faced this way, it was good, but then we changed the tag, and if it faced that way, it was prepped. And then we had this exposed tag. If it was exposed, we put exposed. But then once you took it off of the camera, you would rip it, the film, so that you knew, okay, the ripped film you don't put back in. And then when we switched to, what's that? Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then when we switched to cartridges or hard drives and stuff, probably shouldn't do this looking back, but we'd literally put a piece of tape over it. So then you would know that piece of tape, you would never, that was more for erasing. So then you would send it off. Now I think that they would trust us. This was different when I did it. So you'd have to send it to a special guy that would just transfer the hard drives. That was their job. Makes no sense. I don't know why I couldn't have had it as part of my job since I did the film before, but whatever. They had this person that would sit there and drag a file from a thing to a thing and then watch it.
They probably organized it though and renamed it.
Yeah, they probably did more to their job, but we were always confused what this person actually did.
It would have taken too much of your time.
But we did the film. I would have to download the film and put the film in the mag and then take the film out of the mag. So I had extra time. Although there was more video responsibilities now that I'm thinking about it, because as it got more digital, you had to set up the monitor more and spend more time at Video Village, making sure that signal was right and taking care of the cable and stuff.
And like you're just taking steps of storage to send it to processing with film, whereas this is the processing.
Yeah, fair enough. And then they'd have to probably work with the editors. But so then we take a piece of tape, and then part of my system is they would send the thing back the first time, and it would always have the same footage on it. But then I wouldn't put it, if it had footage on it already, I wouldn't format it. We wouldn't format it in the camera. So my rule was, okay, once you've double checked that this footage is done, you have to erase it, because we're not erasing it on set, because set's too busy and too crazy. And if we start getting in the habit of erasing footage, if our hard drive comes back with anything on it, and we get in the habit of erasing hard drives that have stuff on it, we're going to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever made that mistake? You've never deleted, like, even on your own after?
Yes. Never on a movie set, though, because you have too many checks and balances in place, and you take it too seriously that I'm not saying it can't happen, but I didn't let it happen, and it didn't happen. So, but guys had it happen to them.
I
I've
did it
heard the stories where they just put the thing in and it formatted it and lost footage.
I have mixed feelings about that, but that's okay. Because I had it happen to me once as well by myself when I was shooting a wedding, and basically I formatted the card when I was out there, and it was what I had shot all day, and panic mode or whatever. But thankfully, I was like, I realized I did it, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put this card away, take out a new card, put that one in. I'm gonna worry about that card later. Maybe I can recover it. And I feel like if you did that on set too, as long as you didn't re-record over all the data, you should be able to recover.
Could you recover yours? You did?
Yep.
Holy cow, wow.
So, like I said, just thankfully I had that presence of mind after
like
just being soul crushed that I was like, wait, maybe I can recover this after. And I just put the card away.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have even thought about that back then because it was so new.
The harder thing was actually like the mental leap to get over what I had just done and just being like, you need to forget about this and just continue shooting the rest of this day. Like, do not think about that card. I thought about that card constantly, but like I feel like that probably like ruined part of the day for me or ruined some of my. I don't know if it did or not, but
wow, what a story!
Going back in time, Nick, I used to have this Mind Shift camera bag. It was a really nice bag. It was meant to use like all my film stuff in it, but it wasn't quite fitting things right. And I was trying to sell it, and then I gave it away to a friend, and I'm starting to regret that decision.
So I've got this really cool. It's a think tank bag.
Think tank. Sorry, I thought it was Mind Shift.
Emery had this bag. I noticed it on Facebook. He was advertising this little camera bag, and then I asked him about it at one of the games because we filmed the work on the crew for the Pats games, and he brought it there. I said, "Well, can I just take a look at it?" And yeah, sure. Well, I'd really like to know how it works at home. I kind of want to take my lenses and test it out. But it's been sitting on my shelf the same. I haven't even put a lens in it yet since I got it home.
Wow. Well, what are you doing right now? Put a lens in it right now. I want to sit here and watch you put a lens. I will fill some air, hopefully at least a little bit of air, while you grab this lens. What lenses were you trying to throw on it?
I want to throw I'm going to just chuck. Oh, I don't have my back cap. Whatever. It'll be fine. There.
How do you lose a back
24
cap,
to 105. Put that in. That works good. Here's my 85.
Oh, that's a thick.
It's a 2 holder.
I don't know if you'll get a third.
No,
one.
I'm only getting 2 in there. So I can fit 2 lenses in. That's not bad though.
I feel like if you had like not a one that wasn't as thick as the 85, you can get.
There's the 100 macro. That's nice that it fits. That it's not too tall for it, so that works. Yeah, that's good. I've got to put this lens back on because I've got a body that's open right now.
So are you going to finally buy that thing off me?
Well, the problem, it's a little expensive. I got to be honest.
It's an expensive bag, though. It's a nice bag.
It's a very nice bag, and that's what's actually holding me up from. So the 2 things are holding me up from doing it is A, it's a nice bag, and B, it's expensive. But I don't know. It's nice. It's really, really nice.
It is a really nice bag, and it's basically never really been used.
And I like
this is the most use it's ever gotten.
I like the Velcro, or not the Velcro, the little magnet thing. I like how it zips up. It's nice. And then I can put that into here and not carry this for some of the stuff. Boom, I just got that.
Yeah. Did you see Peter McKinnon's new bag?
Oh, he came up with another new bag? How many new bags is he going to make?
Third one now. I don't know.
No, I haven't seen his new bag.
I was thinking the same thing. Just like, why is there so many bags? Shouldn't we all complain about a bag problem? And I thought that's why you wanted to make bags in the first place. But now there's 3 bags plus a
How do we know which one to
fanny
pick?
pack one.
This is confusing now.
I know, it's like, it's absurd. Did I have a new bag?
Do you? No.
Did I ever show you it? Hold on, I'll grab that. You got to fill air now.
So when Emery said that I was going to take this bag, it was funny because I was just going to take it home for a day to try it out. And it has been, oh my goodness, what has it been? A month since I've had this bag. But I do like it. It's nice. My favorite part is the little magnets in here that click down. But he wants $50 for it. And that's a lot for a little bag. It really is.
It's really not when you actually look at them.
It's
like,
what online. Is it online?
Like that bag news, like
$120 bag.
Yeah, it's something stupid.
It's nice. It's really nice.
Here's my new bag.
Oh, cool.
So I bought it. I bought it used. It is slightly Temba.
Yeah. Did you pay over $50 for it?
I don't want to answer that question. Kind of the side access, if you look at what's like in there right now.
Oh, nice.
Dump it.
That's good.
But like, just for example, in this bottom pouch is a 100 to 400
Beautiful.
Lens, like, so it fits that. It's my camera with the 70 to 200 on it, plus the 1635. So I can basically get all 3. It's so small, light travel one. The only thing I not like super jazzed about is it's only a 1 strap thing. But other than that, it's essentially perfect. It's pretty nice.
Good. That is nice. I think we should wrap it up because I got to go put my daughter to bed.
Yeah. By daughter, do you mean you?
And me too, yeah. Although we need to keep our computers open for a bit because it says, please ask all guests to stay in the studio until their recordings are done uploading. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
So we just got to keep the browser open for a bit.
Okay.
But we can end it.
No, whatever.
But we just...
Cool. Let's end it, Nick. Let's end it on something we used to do back in the day. Get that sultry voice going and give us some end of podcast.
Oh, the advice section. So actually I do have a little bit of advice today. And this is something that came up at the wedding. I went to the wedding and I haven't done a wedding in a while, so a little rusty with some of the stuff. But you know what I didn't bring with me? My AA battery bag. I got this big sack of AA batteries. I'm going to grab it right here so you can even see.
It's been a big show and tell episode.
This big sack of AA batteries full of charged bats in here. Guess where I left it? I left it in my place where I keep my AA batteries. But this is the key. This is the advice. Always throw however many AA batteries you need in your camera bag. Yeah, that is nice. That is nice. It's Emery's holding up a AA battery kind of caddy right now.
Yeah, Storacells. They're in 4s. So these go specifically with my wireless lav all the time. So 4 batteries.
So
4 in there.
For this particular wedding, because I was recording from the soundboard to my laptop, I had all the audio covered. But I did know that I needed to have at least 1 lav. And so I had I always keep batteries in my camera bag. So that was covered. I just pulled out the new batteries. Didn't matter that I forgot my giant sack of batteries.
Tascam takes 3 batteries. Here's its storage
Nice.
cell one, 3 batteries. So everything always lines up on everything of mine all the time. Again, actually, I think this is like another appreciated thing
Those are
that
nice.
goes into
I
a
love
camera
it.
bag, just like a camera
So I'm
card
not
holder.
saying we all need to have backups for our backups, but having spare stuff, it doesn't hurt.
It really doesn't. We actually gave away good advice this time. I felt like that was not the theme we used to have.
I remember one time I said, I think it was plug in your batteries or something like that, which is not really advice. It's just make sure your thing's plugged into the wall. It's not really good advice.
I think your advice, your standard go-to was make sure you have your lens caps on. I don't know, something silly like that. Anyways, good enough, Nick. Let's wrap her up. Yeah, nothing else to say. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.